This week's trials are underway. This week in criminal trials, justice journeys through the miles. No need to wait for breaking news. This week's trials are underway.
Welcome to This Week in Criminal Trials, brought to you by Behind the Mask. I'm your host, Jamie, and it's Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. Today, we're diving into the latest from the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, a case that's been dominating headlines and shaking the music industry to its core. The allegations are explosive, the courtroom drama is intense, and this week brought some major developments. Whether you're just tuning in or have been following every twist and turn, I've got everything you need to know. First, let's set the stage. Sean Combs, known to most as Diddy, is facing 5 federal charges: racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and 2 counts of transportation for the purpose of prostitution. Prosecutors allege that over the past 2 decades, Combs ran a criminal enterprise that abused, threatened, and coerced women into drug-fueled sexual encounters, which he allegedly called freak-offs. They say he then used intimidation and hush money to keep victims silent. Combs, for his part, has pleaded not guilty to all charges and insists that any sexual encounters were consensual. Now, let's talk about the week's biggest bombshell, the infamous 2016 hotel video. If you remember, this is the surveillance footage from the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, showing Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. This week, jurors heard from Eddie Garcia, a hotel security officer who testified under immunity. Garcia said that after the assault, Combs was desperate to get his hands on the footage. Garcia's boss negotiated a price of $50,000, but when Garcia delivered the thumb drive, Combs handed him a brown paper bag with $100,000 in cash. Garcia also had to sign a non-disclosure agreement with a $1 million penalty for breaking it, and Combs reportedly told him not to make any big purchases. Garcia split the cash with other hotel staff, keeping $30,000 for himself. He used it to buy a used car, never deposited it, and never reported it for taxes. Prosecutors argue this is clear evidence of bribery and obstruction, 2 key pieces of the racketeering case. The jury also heard from Derek Ferguson, the former CFO of Bad Boy Entertainment. The defense called him to show that he never witnessed Combs or his staff commit crimes, acts of violence, or abuse to boost the company's reputation. Ferguson said he never saw anything illegal in his 2 decades at the company. But prosecutors pushed back, bringing up Combs' financial records, including wire transfers involving Cassie Ventura's family. Cassie's mother previously testified that Combs demanded $20,000 from her daughter to recoup money he'd spent on her after learning about her relationship with another musician. The jury saw bank statements that support this, adding to the prosecution's argument that Combs used money and influence to control and silence those around him. This week also saw continued testimony from Mia, a former assistant to Combs who alleges she was sexually assaulted multiple times. The defense tried to undermine her credibility by highlighting loving messages she sent to Combs years after the alleged assaults. Mia admitted she didn't disclose her allegations to prosecutors until June 2024, months after Cassie Ventura's civil lawsuit. But the prosecution says her testimony is crucial to showing a pattern of behavior. The court also heard that another alleged victim, who will testify under the name Jane, is scheduled to take the stand next, along with Brianna Bongolan, who has accused Combs of dangling her off a balcony, a claim he denies. And as if that wasn't enough drama, prosecutors told the judge that someone in the courthouse streamed the trial from their phone and revealed Mia's real name, violating her privacy. That person has now been banned from the courthouse, highlighting just how intense the public and media scrutiny is around this case. Next. Looking ahead, prosecutors are expected to wrap up their case soon. The defense will then present its arguments, likely focusing on the consensual nature of the relationships and the lack of direct evidence tying Combs to an organized criminal conspiracy. If convicted on all counts, Combs could spend the rest of his life in prison. That's it for this week's update on the Sean Diddy Combs trial. The stakes are sky high, and the testimony just keeps coming. We'll be back next week with more coverage as the trial continues to unfold. Don't forget to subscribe to This Week in Criminal Trials, brought to you by Behind the Mask, for all the latest updates. I'm Jamie. Thanks for listening.
Halls to